Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find latest album reviews, you can find our band interviews, and you can find the live coverage of the concerts that we get. I posted an album review of good friends of mine's and Renegades. They put on an EP, really good stuff. And Ascent Like Wolves is also releasing an EP as well, Spirit Vessel, that also comes out tomorrow along with this record. So definitely check out all three of those. I also posted an interview with Slaves, and then tomorrow/today I'm posting an interview with The Rocket from Sweden. So definitely check out those things. If you like it, please subscribe, please hit that thumbs up, and please hit that notification bell so you get notified of when things come out. So tonight we're going to be talking about Light the Torch's new record, Revival. Is it too late for me to run? It hates me. So for those of you who don't know this band, they actually used to be another band, so they went through some rebranding. They used to be called The Devil You Know, and it features the vocalist of that band, Howard Jones. He also used to be in Killswitch Engage from 2004 to 2009, and then Devil You Know also released two records between the spans of 2014 to 2015, and it also features the guitar player from Alsha Parish, Francesco. I forget his last name, but he's really good. And so this is kind of a new rebrand of the band, pretty much the same members, I think, excluding their drummer. But this is a really cool record. I've been a fan of Howard Jones's vocals for as long as I can remember, and if you've been in the scene for as long as I have, you know that he's synonymous with some really phenomenal records. And if you haven't checked out old Killswitch Engage with him on it, check out in End of Heartache, As Daylight Dies, and their self-titled, really amazing stuff, and I still love it to this day. So I'm going to go through each track, give you my thoughts and opinions on it. I'm going to go through some pros and cons, and then finish it out with an overall rating. So the first track on the record is Die Alone. This was the first single that they released, and it definitely brings back those classic metalcore vibes, even kind of like almost hard rock vibes as well, and I like that theme kind of carries along in this song, and I really love how this song, Howard Jones vocals just kind of like shine. I feel like, maybe it might be the nostalgia glasses like on, but definitely love his vocals and just the way he just encapsulates the listener, and just how he sounds. It just has this really powerful fullness that I feel like a lot of artists these days don't have, and it's really cool to hear that. I also like that he really does a lot in this track, from mids, and there's some great harmonies. There's also some great screaming as well. I think it is a powerful opener track, and it definitely kind of gives you a vibe and a sense of how the rest of the record sound. I wouldn't say within 100% of how it will definitely sound, but I think for the most part, it gets the job done. So we're gonna move into track number 2, which is The God I Deserve. This one has much more of a heavier tonality. I definitely feel like they went with a heavier guitar, maybe even like a 7-string or down-tuned guitar. But this one has more of a melodic approach, which I was definitely surprised about, especially vocally. I felt like with the premise of the song being much heavier, I felt like there was going to be more screaming from Howard, but in fact it was kind of the opposite. It's a lot more clean vocals and a lot more melody and just different sorts of things going on in this track as well, and at some points it almost feels like it clashes at certain peaks, just because you're expecting some screams, or you're expecting some heavier notation, and it just kind of feels off, just based off of the sort of intro portion of the track. It definitely felt like this one was going to be more scream centric, but in fact it wasn't. But if they were definitely going for that more counterbalance approach to the song, I feel like they achieved it. Not saying it has to be heavy with screaming on it, but I felt like this one in particular definitely needed more of a heavier scream vibe to it. Definitely. So we're going to move into track number 3, which is Calm Before the Storm. This was the other single that they had released. This one definitely brought the energy level back up. This one feels much more in that metalcore genre a little bit. I like the gang vocals in the pre-chorus along with Howard's screams. I think that they just work really well together in this song, and I love the chorus in this track. I think it's super catchy. The harmonization and just the layered vocals really add to the overall vibe of this track. It really is well executed and highlights the entire band in the best way possible. I feel like it's a good single song along with Die Alone. I felt like those two are definitely the strongest two tracks off the record, and I also feel like they're the strongest singles, being that they are the only two singles so far. But really enjoyed this one a lot. Definitely up there with a favorites of mine. So we're gonna move into track number 4, which is Raise the Dead. This one has more of a hard rock metalcore feel to it. Definitely more modern bands are taking that approach. For example, like Of Mice and Men. I'm trying to think of other bands like, I guess, Papa Roach, I guess, if that kind of makes sense. I feel like Papa Roach is in that same genre. But definitely more of a hard rock feel to it. The instrumentals play definitely a larger role in this track, especially in the verses. I feel like the bass has more of a pronounced role in the verses, and just the overall instrumentation just fits a lot better in this song. And I also feel like there's another member that lends vocals on this record, or on this song too, which offers a nice counter to Howard's vocals, I would say, in a really nice way. And I would love to hear him come out more often. I think that he fits very well with Howard's range. I think Howard kind of goes into that more mid and like low range, and I feel like that's where he does his best work. But the sort of higher range vocals really kind of mesh well and pair well with Howard's vocals. So we're going to move into track number 5, The Safety of Disbelief. The melodies on this song are absolutely infectious. I feel like they will get stuck in your head. They got stuck in my head for sure. And obviously, I can't speak for everyone, but I feel like this one takes cues from Raise the Dead, but just kind of does it in a better way. I feel like this is definitely one of my favorite performances from Howard on the record. It's just his vocals really, really kind of hone in and really use him to the best ability. Just his range from like the lows, mids, and just high range, where he kind of gets into that really, powerful high range. I think he definitely works super well in this song. The instrumentations are really interesting as well, and they highlight again the best aspects of this record. I feel like this is probably one of the more solid songs off the record, along with Die Alone and Calm Before the Storm. I feel like these 3 songs so far utilize all of the members of the band the best. They kind of use different sorts of things going on, whether it be instrumentation or vocal lines or vocal melodies, that really make the song appealing and have that sort of repeat value that I look out for in albums. So we're going to move into track number 6, which is Virus. This one feels a bit one-dimensional, and much like I feel like The God I Deserved, while that one's a pretty solid track, I feel like this one just doesn't have a lot of instrumentation variation. It feels almost like one long song, and there isn't stuff that kind of breaks it up in the song that makes it like a song that I would go back and listen to. The performance from Howard was really good, but I think there wasn't really anything particularly interesting or just ear-catching to me that made this one, a top-tier song off the record. So we're going to move into track number 7, which is The Great Divide. This one is a really interesting one. I feel like the song has more of an underlying electronic vibe to it. The tempo is a bit slower than some of the previous tracks off the record, and I think it's just an interesting approach. There are definitely some redeeming qualities. The back and forth between Howard and the other member that sings in the bridge, I feel like, was a really solid point, and I like that they kind of expound upon it in future songs off this record. I think that that's a really good note, and I obviously harked on it just a little bit before this. But I like the experimentation in this track, and I feel like it has really interesting uniqueness to it. It's one of those songs that when I got to it on the record, I was like, this is the Great Divide. It definitely feels like it. And just after Virus, I kind of had an idea of where I was at the record, which is really cool. So we're gonna move into track number 8, which is The Bitter End. This one gives me definitely the most Killswitch Engage vibes of when Howard was in Killswitch Engage. The vocal trade-offs, come back in. They come back into the song. I don't know why I said but whenever they come back into the song, and I definitely feel like they fit the vibe of this song the best. This one is heavy, and I like that this one kind of returns back to their roots, both structurally and just sonically. It does have moments of heavy, but it also has great moments that you can sing along to. It's a really good tried and true formula that I feel like Howard Jones, whatever band he's in, I feel like he executes it in a really good way. Definitely super amazing vocalist, and that's pretty much like, I mean, you can't talk enough about Howard Jones. The harmonization really sticks out to me the most. I love that they have some extra vocal layers where either Howard's doing some vocals, or they have the other member that does do vocals as well. It just kind of absolutely highlights the track and makes it really good. I feel like the extra little polish, the extra little things you get here and there really make the song unique and really refreshing. So we're gonna move into track number 9, which is Lost in the Fire. I love that the cello kind of mimics the guitar riff at the beginning of the song, and much like The God I Deserved, I feel like this one was definitely going to go in the heavier direction. I feel like it required a little bit more screams, but in the case of the God I Deserved, I feel like Lost in a Fire did it in a much better way. The melodies, the catchiness was just executed much better, and I love how this one comes off as more of a heavier, more melodic track, which, I feel like they kind of expounded upon in this record, but they really kind of hit a home run on this song. The bridge is the absolute focal point of the track, and the ending is really good. I feel like will be an underrated track off the record, which I really love. So we're gonna move into track number 10, which is The Sound of Violence. This is by far the heaviest track off the record. If you've been missing a heavy track of just all screams, then this is the one for you. Howard's screams sound really good, and again, I think when they go the heavy direction, it just works. It has vibes of his previous project, Devil You Know. It kind of takes vibes from that as well. Though I thought the end would lead to a heavier part, there's definitely a portion of the song that would have fit better if they had just kind of maybe went in that heavier direction towards the end. Really would have worked out to the best benefit. So we're going to move into track number 11, which is Pull Out My Heart. This one, much like Virus, I feel like this one has a lackluster feel to it. It doesn't offer much of anything. I feel like it feels like Virus 2.0. It has some interesting parts. I would say probably the bridge is the best part of the song. It really kind of takes that uniqueness to another scale, and I really wish they would have utilized it in a different part or a different song. There wasn't anything that really jumped out to me, particularly in this song. I think it's solid, but it definitely could use some work without a doubt. So we're going to move it into track number 12, which is Judas's Convention. I just love Howard Jones's lower vocal range. I feel like it just has this like that I can't really explain. It's got this beefiness, and I don't like using beefiness to describe vocals, but it's really hard to just pinpoint how Howard Jones's sound is, just especially his lower range. It just has this really just fullness, and it's awesome. So if you haven't listened to Howard Jones, it's going to be hard to explain, but really good stuff in there. I think that this song really highlights both his singing and screaming. There's a nice 50-50 split of both, and it gives you highlights of Howard Jones's vocals abilities. I think instrumentally, I feel like it falls off a little bit in this track. There really isn't too much going on. I feel like it kind of takes cues from Pull My Heart Out. Not nearly as bad, but I feel like it doesn't highlight what it's supposed to highlight. And I feel like at the end of the record, I was really kind of hoping for a good track to finish the record off with. I think that overall, I think it's a really solid track, but I feel like instrumentally it just falls a little short. But I think Howard's vocals definitely kind of bring it up a little bit. So I'm not totally hating on this track, but I feel like it could definitely be better. So some pros and cons about this record. I feel like, without saying, Howard Jones is back. I think his vocal range is just, powerful, breathtaking, and just really solid. If you haven't listened to Howard Jones, I really would recommend it. Another pro, I feel like there's a good mix of new and old sounds, whether it be, The Devil You Know or Killswitch Engage era Howard Jones. I feel like there's just definitely a nice balance of both, and there's a nice nuance of new stuff that they have going on, in terms of their sound. Definitely nostalgic vibes in certain songs, which I love. I like that he kind of harkens and brings back some of the, some of the songs and moments that people that have been following him for a while love. So definitely good cue on his part with that. Some cons, I feel like there's in certain parts in certain songs, there's just a blandness, there's kind of a generic vibe to it, and I wasn't expecting anything like insane or technical. I just feel like there could be some interesting aspects to certain songs that would make it more appealing, more interesting. And again, this is a broad brush of the album. I feel like not all the songs have this blandness or genericness to it. I just feel like there are some songs that could have used a little bit more work, without a doubt. And another con, I feel like there wasn't enough experimentation. I felt like they've really kept true to their roots, which is nice in some cases, but I would have loved a few tracks where they kind of, went a different direction, and just maybe brought in some different sorts of vibes to the album. So my overall rating for Light the Torch Revival, I'm going to be giving it a 9.2 out of 10. I definitely feel like it's one you should check out, if you've been a fan of Howard Jones for a while. I feel like, this is some of his best work. There are some songs in here that I would consider to be some of his best work vocally. So go give it a listen. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. It comes out today, March 30th, I believe. I think today is March 30th, so definitely go check that out. Today, when you get the chance to go pick it up. It's really unique, and there are some songs that are unique, and there's some songs that are what you know and love, from Howard Jones and Light the Torch. So definitely enjoyed this record. I think it's one, again, you got to listen to front to back, to kind of get the full gist of everything. So again, let me know in the comments what you thought about it, and if you enjoyed this review, please subscribe, please hit that thumbs up. It really does go a long way. Thank you guys for your support. My name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com, and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.